So when it comes to building online courses, what are some pearls that you have for people who are developing courses? How do you know what content to put in there? How do you know how long the course should be? What do you have for advice to somebody thinking about starting an online course and not knowing where to go and how to do it?
I think the very first thing you need to do is define who your audience are or will be. Try not to make it too broad at first. And if you really are clear on who your audience is, then hopefully you'll know what their needs are, what the problems are that they have. So it goes back to what I'm talking about in sales. So for me in management and leadership, knowing the particular audience I have in healthcare, practice managers, nurse leaders, administration managers, it's knowing that they don't necessarily have time to sit down and watch a 2-hour online course. They don't necessarily have time to read through a lot of information. So for me, what I do to tailor to that need is I have courses that are made up of very short modules. So those modules might be 10 minutes, they might be 30 minutes, but no longer. They're able to deliver a solution in a very short period of time. And if they want something that goes beyond that, then they move on to another module. So I think for me and my audience, breaking things down, I think is important. And I would imagine that would apply to many audiences. Life is busy. People don't necessarily have time to watch a long program. So I think that's probably the first thing. Deciding the content is again about knowing what problems you are solving. So it all comes back to that other person and the audience. I think too, then it's thinking about how you're going to present that. So are you going to be on screen and actually walking people through a process, a solution? Are you going to demonstrate something? Or can you actually do that with a voiceover and slides? Don't overwhelm with slides if you are going to do that. But do you have some nice visuals that you can show? So think through what that experience is like for the other person. It needs to be engaging, interesting, and deliver what it says it will deliver. They're probably the two main pieces of advice I can give at the moment.
Awesome. I love it. Well, one really unique way to sort of assess what your potential students' needs are, or what sort of information they're looking for, that I found to be really helpful is not only just a Facebook group that's with your course. You can see what questions people are asking that your course hasn't yet addressed, and then start to make modules based on the feedback and the questions that are being asked in that group, but also a beta group or a test group that you let in for a really low fee, or maybe even for free, and they get to run through your program at very little expense to them or no expense, as long as they give feedback. And that's another great way to get an idea of what your students' needs are. I think that work really well.
100% agree with you. I did do that. I've let people in. I let them in for free trials. Some of them have stayed with me, which is awesome. But I asked for feedback and I asked for testimonials as well. Mm-hmm. I think that they're really important. So absolutely, that's a great idea, as well as the Facebook page as well.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned testimonials. And if you haven't checked it out, there's a program called boast.io, and you can set up an automated testimonial request system. It's fantastic, and we struggled getting testimonials. Healthcare professionals tend to not be like the type that love to get in front of a camera, and so that was our solution. It took us a while to find it, but we found that boast.io, people could leave their testimonials. They don't have to get on camera with me. We don't have to schedule a time. They can literally just do it from the comfort of their own home in the privacy of their own office and leave a review. And since we implemented that, our testimonials have literally 10x'd. So check that out if you haven't already. It's a fantastic program, and definitely recommend it to anybody. Great software there. Testimonials are key to selling your product, because people want to, in the online world for sure, vet whoever they're purchasing from if they don't already know, like, and trust you. And a testimonial is one way to sort of get them to move one step closer to trusting you, because that's the final step in the purchasing decision. So I love that. I kind of wanted to circle a little bit back towards leadership, since that's your area of expertise. And what, as healthcare manager, or as an entrepreneur who's managing people, what are some of the key components of effective leadership, and what advice do you have to people to develop those skills?
My first piece of advice, which I often give, is don't be scared of leadership. I think sometimes the word leadership is thrown around by thought leaders and gurus and people who, are making millions and millions of dollars. And it can get a bit scary if this is your first time leading a team, your first time even thinking about leadership. So first thing, don't be scared. You'll find your space. For me, leadership is really about, firstly, being a good person, building trust, and also enabling a team to work effectively together. So what you're doing is you're trying to set a common vision, common purpose, and you're using your communication and influencing skills to help people go with you in that direction, whatever that vision might be. So don't be scared. The second thing is, I've talked about vision and purpose. Be really clear on what your vision is. Why does this team of people, or why does your business, if it's just you, exist? And where are you heading? What is the vision for success in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that time frame is that works for you? Be really clear on that and communicate that and try and make it inspiring for other people to hear. Coming back to just being a good person, I know that sounds very flippant, but to be a good leader, it's actually about connecting with other people. It's getting to know them. And again, we keep talking about trust today. It's building that trust. So spend time, if you do have a team of people around you, spend time getting to know them, spend time getting to know your clients as well. Paint that vision for the future and find out what's important to them and link that to what your vision is. I think it's really just remembering when you're leading, it's about people. It's not necessarily about the process. And I think if you can hold that, I think that will stand you in really good stead. And it might not be thought leader terms. It may not be, a guru's term, but I think it all boils down to the people side of things.